music in the conservative Adventist circles is backward. That's just it. That's my evaluation of it.
Welcome to Young and Adventist.
Welcome to Young and Adventist.
Welcome to Young and Adventist.
Hello and welcome to Young and Adventist. My name is Bradley Mogera and I'm joined by three wonderful panelists. On my far right, there is the beautiful
Wawuda. Hi.
the handsome
Allan.
and the eccentric.
Misati.
And I'm Bradley Mogera once again. Welcome back to another episode. Today's episode is about music, and in particular, music and Adventists. So yeah, let's just get right into it. First question. This is like an icebreaker. Can you guys remember the last song you listened to? Starting from Misati.
Oh damn. Actually, do I remember the last one? No, I don't exactly remember the last song I listened to.
Okay, give me like a genre.
Genre hip hop.
Hip hop. Aight, Alan.
Okay.
Tamyungr.
Okay. But let's listen to that though. Listen to that.
I did.
You listen to the whole song?
No, not the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. What do you?
I listened to Bust Your Windows by Jasmine Sullivan.
Yeah, no,
No,
but that.
Okay, nice.
For me, it was what Nairobi Girl by Chris Kaiga. So
Yeah.
So yeah, what actually for you guys? I think we're all Adventists here. My first question for all of you is, what kind of music do Adventists listen to? So Woody, what kind of? In fact, Woody's a chorister in church, so she's the best person to answer this question. But what kind of music do we listen to as Adventists?
I think everyone is different. I don't think it's like one size fits all. Dumcha for sure. Like that's like standard like Adventist kind of, that's our stereotypical music, and we fall into the stereotype. But I think everyone has different tastes. Some people like more calm Christian music. Some people like Dumcha. Some people like Maverick City kind of vibes. Some people just don't like gospel music. And some people do. Like some people, it's the only thing they listen to. Others, it's a mix. Others, like not at all. So I don't know. I don't think it's like SDAs. We all listen to the same kind of music, but there's the stereotypical music that we kind of have.
Which is
Dumcha. And
so,
then,
it's not hymns like
no, yeah. Then like
praises,
now in church,
uh-huh.
like in church we don't sing Dumcha like on a day to day, like
Mhm.
on Sabbath. Actually, now we've gone from grace like faithfulness to Dumcha. In church it's hymns, but it's also dependent. It's also dependent on culture. Culture in I'd say Kenya is very, what's the word, like,
I'm okay, fine. You could say conservative or you could say
Yes.
backward.
okay.
Ooh. Well, hold that thought.
That's
hold that
okay.
thought.
Yeah.
Finish what you're saying. We're coming to backward.
Ooh, that's the gag. Conservative is the word that I was gonna say. Because we don't really use drums, we don't use guitars, electric guitars. It's just piano. We have violin, saxophone in our church, but then it's not like a lot of heavy stuff. But then more so in the Western world, that's what they use. What was your question? I forgot.
No, keep going. What kind of music do we listen to as Adventists?
Yeah, in church we listen to hymns, but like soft
Yeah.
hymns. Yeah.
You know, on that point, when I was younger, I don't know why, but I remember like we used to sing a song in church where it's Kanyaga, Shetani,
Yeah.
Kanyaga. And there's one for Nimezunguka kote,
Yeah.
Nimetafuta. Yeah, so like, but that music sort of phased out in Karangata because it used to be very active music. But then nowadays it's very like solemn music as opposed to moving around dancing.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean I get your point there. We have a stereotypical music sound or genre that as Adventists we often are, categorized as listening to. So yeah. I don't know, what kind of music do you think Adventists listen to?
Well, I would say that what she said, plus, the kind of music that has not also a lot of instruments. So I would say a cappella. I would just add a cappella.
Acapellas,
That is one genre that has me at
Associated,
heart.
yeah.
So yeah, that's an addition.
Misati?
Yes, I think it depends.
And tell us about backward also. by the
About
way.
backward?
Yeah.
Backward. I mean, so I would just describe, I say music in Karangata or music in the conservative Adventist circles is backward. That's just it. That's my evaluation of it. Nonetheless, even on this eastern side of the continent, even in Kenya, it's not every SDA church that sticks with hymns only. There is, I know of one in Roysambu, that is in Resambu in Tome Estate, that actually uses drums and electric guitars. So it uses jazz, R&B, those, I think, elements, those genre elements, and that is what is used in worship. So I would say that it's not like univocal, like all the churches in the eastern side. I'd say it's a mix and match. There are those who hold to backward tradition. There are those who are progressive in their embracing. Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, what music do you guys regularly listen to? So, like, not just Christian music, but also like secular or otherwise music. Misati, what kind of music do you listen to
Wait,
on the
he
regular?
answered that. He hasn't told us about the backward.
About the backward.
Oh, he hasn't
Yeah.
said. Oh, he
No,
hasn't.
he hasn't.
Talk to us
Like
about
backward. That's my opinion.
That
Why
we are
backward? Okay.
Yes, that conservative Adventism is backward.
How so?
I mean, it's
Wait, hold on. Conservative Adventism or conservative Adventist music?
okay. Yeah, I mean both. But since we're
Both.
discussing music,
Music today,
I'd
yeah.
say conservative Adventist music is backward.
Okay, she wants to know why.
Or why?
Yeah.
Because okay, so the thing is, anything it doesn't understand, it labels satanic. That's the thing. So anything it doesn't understand, it's like, this is Satan's music. Oh, you want to play drums? Satan's music. Satan is going to enter into your life and is going to cause you to fall into sin. Why? Because you just made a sound with a drum.
Okay, but is okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just go into this for a second.
Yeah.
Is that the Adventist institution, or is it Adventists, like individuals, who say it's backward? Because I don't think the church as a whole will categorically say that, drums are backward or this is backward. I think they've evolvingly or over time come to a point where they now understand that music is sort of different in different cultures.
Multifaceted,
Yeah.
culturally dependent.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And so I don't think, I haven't heard them say that drums or certain beats are completely wrong. But again, I think they've become also a little bit generic in the way that they categorize, what good music is supposed to be. So like nowadays they don't use like, this chord is wrong or this, beat is wrong. But nowadays they're more like, this music should be ennobling. Is it ennobling? Like making it noble?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, or like-
sadly, I have to say the manual is ambiguous
Yeah.
and vague and odd. Like, I just said ambiguous and vague. It's like it uses a lot of long or at times complex words or big words, feelingly, or small words made big to try and prove to like say something. I'm like, okay, so I think it's ennobling, etc., etc., etc. But what does that mean? It's not saying anything. It's just being ambiguous. And in that ambiguity, that's when people now like take a hold and like extrapolate on absurd basis. And they say, oh, the manual said it. The manual never said it.
I'll give you a quote actually from the guidelines.
Yeah.
It says, at its purest and best, music lifts our beings into the very presence of God, where angels and fallen and unfallen beings worship him in song. So I think like that sounds good.
Sounds good.
But like
But it's not
it doesn't
practical.
tell you the exact nitty-gritty
It's
of
not
what
saying
kind of
anything.
music you should listen to. And again, I think also it's because I can't exactly, or the church can't exactly dictate to you listen to this music only. But also they know that I think they sort of understand that as a reasonable human being, you can think for yourself. Is what I'm listening to, I don't know, 2 Chainz song like about like women and alcohol. Like that's not really bringing me close to God. But then now it becomes a bit tricky when I'm listening to, for example, I'm a piano. Like is that good or bad? Is that evil or
You just don't understand
sinful?
the words.
Yeah, but like for example, there's a song called Bengitsela, shout out. It's a prayer, but it's Amapiano. And it's like it's the beats for Amapiano.
Yeah.
And it's like, am I allowed to listen to this? Because as a Christian, you're often told there's only certain music that you can listen to. So I think it doesn't really like differentiate certain songs from being good or bad, but it does give you like a criteria on which you can now judge for yourself on, is this making me feel close to God or further from God? Is it making me want to act a certain way? Because again, they also denote like, there's lustful music, there's I don't know, there's different types of music, but they say that if a song makes you feel just lustful, that isn't a good song.
No, but then I would ask, probably you're not the right audience. I think about it this way. Now, if a man is singing the same music to his wife, is that a sin? If a man is telling his wife that he strongly sexually desires her,
But then he's released the song for all of us to hear it.
I mean, no, but the thing is, he dedicated the song to his wife and is like, I want you, all you guys out there who are like me, who have wives and who really feel strongly sexual towards your wife, I want you to have the same experience.
But then like,
Maybe you're not the right audience.
okay, let me be very like,
Maybe you're not the right
Okay.
audience.
okay, honest one, but last point, let me be very like, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree a bit. Because it's like, see, when it comes to something like okay, let's say pornography, yeah.
Mhm.
Like if I record a video, me and my wife, like
Mhm.
doing, intimate acts together, and I say this is just for me and my wife, but I make it public to the world, it's like, yeah, it's just me and my wife, but it's now I'm inviting you guys.
That's everybody's
Yeah,
business.
so it's not everybody's
Yeah.
business. So like
Mhm.
same with a song. If I sing like a sexually arousing song, but it's for my wife, then I give it to everybody to listen to. It's no longer for me and my wife. It's for
Yeah.
the world to see, or to hear.
Mhm.
So I think it's
So I think
that's the way I think
There's
about it.
a complexity arise from the video or from the song itself. Are we divorcing? Because fine, the video may be explicit. That's the thing. So okay, the issue here is like, so comparing pornography and like auditory music without a video is, it doesn't follow. Pornography is visual, music is purely auditory.
But both are being used to arouse sexually. It's
Yeah,
like
that's
reading a
the thing.
book. Like you can
So-
have written pornography, you can have like is it called
Like what?
auditory
That's the thing.
pornography. So like there's like it's either way. If I'm like if it's for example, R. Kelly had very like sexualized music.
Mhm.
If he's making music that's very sexual, then it's still being you like it's still not taking you close to God. It's still lustfully bringing you to a point of your primal instincts of wanting to just sleep with a woman. So I get your point,
Mhm.
but I disagree. Now allow me to move on. We'll come back to that. I promise. So yeah, for you guys, did we answer your question? Sure. No, we'll come back to that. I promise. We'll come back. But for Andy, I wanted to ask, what kind of music do you listen to on the regular?
So I say mainly the music I listen to would be contemporary reggae and hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only.
Mostly.
Mostly regularly.
Regularly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Alan?
Mostly, I find myself listening to R&B, rap music, and some bit of house music.
And we rap house. Woody?
House.
Yeah,
House, yeah,
Why are you laughing at house? House is music. I like house. I like house.
I like house.
Yeah.
EDM.
I like
Okay.
it.
10 over 10.
I like to judge.
You don't like house?
No.
Like Avicii, David Guetta,
Martin Garrix.
yeah, I don't know if I
Maybe
Martin
like the
Garrix.
old songs.
Calvin Harris. I like Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris.
One
Yeah.
song.
One song, okay,
They're
song.
not like the
Like Summer.
genre.
Summer's a good song.
She wouldn't go to Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland would be bad.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyway, I mostly listen to R&B and soul and I listen to gospel music also. More and more I'm trying to get. I listen to gospel music, but before it was more like I listened to it on Sabbath, and then like snippets throughout the week. But then more and more I'm trying to get into it like
Full time.
yeah, full time. On Sabbath, just like fully into it. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that's.
You don't save it for like Sabbath anymore.
No, why should I save it for Sabbath? Like, and then when Sabbath ends, I'm back to other things. Like, it needs to be a constant thing because it's also something that, like, I guess now as we talk more about music, it can be a very intimate thing. So what I listen to is what will kind of show in the way I'm living my life. So if on Monday I'm going to work, I'm so depressed about going to work. Why should I listen to like sad songs instead of listening to like encouraging songs about God and about the future that He has for me and things like that? So it's just a thing of like changing my mentality. Yeah.
Totally relates to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Why? How do you relate to it?
I've also been finding myself in a space where I want to connect with gospel music more because it totally uplifts my mood sometimes. Sometimes I feel there's certain songs that you just listen to and you're like, nah, God is here with me. You know that you could feel His presence, and then in Aisha, then you're like, Nisao, and like you feel like He's spoken to you through the music or something. So you want to continue that feeling. God has wired us. He installed something in us. Anyway, the engineer in me is speaking. He installed something in us that we will draw back to him who designed us. There is so much that music also does to us, which the manual talks about. The quote that you talked about, which was
It was at its purest, it lifts our beings into the very presence of God, where angels and unfallen beings worship Him in song.
exactly at its purest. So I find myself when I've engaged in that music and I've nimefika hiyo place, naitaka tena hivyo hivyo.
Makes sense.
So yeah.
So now let me ask you, because you've gone down a road that I wanted to go to. How does that music then? How is it authentic to you?
Authentic to me. Expand the question.
As in, like, how well? I think early on, before we were on camera, you mentioned like how music draws you to your authentic self and whatnot. So how does that music draw you to your authentic self? How does it bring you closer to who you actually are, as opposed to just taking you to different? Because sometimes some music will make you angry, happy, sad. How does the music listen to make you more of who you're supposed to be?
That's a good question. Okay, so I can answer with giving you a case scenario. I think sometimes wiki imekutandika. So like really, I can find myself maybe hapo Friday jioni saa 2 hivi ndio I've started listening to gospel. Then you remember, this song, it has spoken something to you. Then you're like, come on, this song by I think it's Angaza Choir. Umenitendea makubwa. Then you're like, yeah, you reflect and you're like, this week I messed up. This week I did this. This week this happened. ABC happened. And this song kind of makes me like come back to my senses. You're like, truly, I see my problem. I see that sometimes I can be the problem. I see that sometimes I have come short. There's so many metrics of all that. Then you like just come back and you're like, yeah. So I think it answers your question, although vaguely, but you find you get my idea.
I get you. So now the next question is, what kind of music should Christians listen to? And I want to go to Randy first because you mentioned, a lot about the music that we should listen to. What kind of music do you think a Christian should listen to?
Okay, I think it comes down to Christians. Okay, even putting Christian aside, so Christian is like the religion, the worship experience, the machinery through which someone accesses the divine. But of course, we are not just discussing worship music, we're discussing music generally. And in different contexts or in different spaces, there's music that suits that space, that is. So for example, if a Christian is in a space where they're trying to challenge oppression, so they would need music that speaks to overcoming the oppression. Let me give an example. There is the song Stand Up by Cynthia Erivo from the movie Harriet. I'm going to stand up, take my people with me. Together we are going to a brand new home, way across the river, Mississippi, in brackets. So the thing is, in such a case, a Christian who is like joined to a civil rights cause would listen to such music because it inspires them to overcome systemic oppression like that. On the other hand, a Christian who is dealing, with different types of oppression, that is, someone who's overcoming an oppressive system, an oppressive economic system, or an oppressive educational system, will listen to music that enlightens them about certain things. At times, the music can be explicit in that way because it's explicitly showing the way people have been fooled and are being taken as fools by the system. That is.
So are you saying like music should match a moment in a Christian's life? So like, for example, it said, if we're fighting against oppression, the music that is in my life at the moment that I'm listening to should be of the moment. It should be music that is speaking to the fight against oppression. Or if let's say it's I've achieved something, it's music that's celebratory. If it's that I'm like sad, it's music that's consoling. So is that what you're saying? I should have music that, as a Christian, speaks to the moment that I'm in at a given time.
I feel that's exactly what music is.
Okay.
Music is the creation of humanity in a certain space. We create worship music because we want to connect with the divine. We create active music that because we want to activate so that we can, like work songs, for example, they're created so that we can work. You will not create thy faithfulness as you split timber. It doesn't work like that.
Well,
I mean, you could make it work, but not really.
How many of you guys gone to the gym, put on Great is Thy Faithfulness, and gone to lift weights?
actually, you know what?
Uh-huh.
I've started doing that because
The hymn, not any contemporary version,
Not-
but
the
there are
hymn.
different versions of the hymn.
Okay, so what we're just saying. Okay, when we refer to the hymn, we mean the boring way it's sung in church.
Okay, first of all,
I would say that's
That's
of
an
course,
opinion.
It's
that's
actually
an
chorus-
opinion.
it's actually
of
a
course.
chorus club.
talking now, chorus
It's
is
That's
like-
the thing.
it's not sung boring. It's sung in the way that is acceptable to the church, and that's also another thing. Sometimes,
Fair.
as the worship team, there are certain things that you want. This is
Go ahead.
There are certain things that you want to do. There are certain ways that you want things to be sung. But you realize, and this is not an attack on anyone, but it's just the
Attack,
fact
she's
of the
attacking you.
matter. It's just the fact of the matter. I'm not attacking
Church
anyone.
board.
Please.
Minion.
No, it's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
You'll find that like maybe you want to introduce a new song or a different way of doing something, but there will always be someone who complains. There will be someone who comes and says, "Why did you sing past a new song? We don't know that song. Sing the songs that we know." So you can't introduce a new song. But then, like you come in and say, "You sang that song boring," or like, "Oh, we always sing this song." So the fact of the matter is that you can't please everyone.
Yeah,
So we
that's
don't sing
valid.
the songs boring. We just sing the songs so that we don't have.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, so you don't
Just
displease
They don't
the
trouble.
elders in
for
church.
the peace of the for the sake of the peace of
To maintain peace.
the church.
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
There are sometimes when it also depends on the person. Everyone has a different style of worshiping, of choristering, of everything like that. So it all comes down to what your vibe is. My vibe is very different from someone else's. So one day you'll find it boring, another day you won't find it boring.
No.
But that's not your question. What was the question?
The question of what kind of music should a Christian listen to? My question was what music should a Christian listen to? What kind of music should a Christian listen to? Should I only
Oh,
listen
it was
to
about the gym.
the one?
Yeah,
it's
about the
gym.
gym. I was gonna say, usually when there's when Peter posts on his Instagram like he's been in the gym and then he posts like with a Christian
Hey, for a
song.
second, I had to clock who Peter is.
Yeah.
And like usually when he posts it with like a Christian song, for me it doesn't make sense. I'm like, okay, you're lifting weights, but then it's like great is thy faithfulness. I'm like, okay, that's not really adding up. But then sometimes, like the other day I was in the gym and I was like, let me just try this. Let me put Christian music on and just listen and vibe. And it's not so bad. Like it feels weird, but it's just because I'm not used to it. I think a lot of times things feel weird when we're not used to them. But it's a matter of when I get used to it, listening to Great is Thy Faithfulness as I'm lifting weights, that becomes normal. Whether it's the boring hymn version or like the hyped up version. I think we just have to condition our minds to it.
But okay, I mean, I see both your points, but I also think there's music for certain points. Like for example, there's sleep music. I won't play sleep music as I'm going to work, or as I'm going to the gym, or as I'm going wherever. Like if I'm driving a long distance, I won't play sleep music. But there's also music that's really hyped up, and I won't play hyped up music before I go to sleep. So it's like, yes, I get your point that you can condition your mind, but also there's certain tunes and melodies that are inclined to make your psyche go towards a certain direction. So whether it's work, sleep, play, there's certain music that makes you feel like doing something a certain way.
So it's just about the beat. So then you can listen to Maverick City.
No, not so. Yeah, so okay. So should we ask now? Back to the main question: should we, as Christians, only listen to Christian music?
Okay, now the thing is, the tricky thing with like, how are we defining Christian music?
Okay, now
Music that talks
Do
about
we
God.
hold up? So lyrically.
Yeah.
So that's it. So we're defining.
Wait, no.
No, I'll give you a definition.
Are we-
Because we're Adventists and speaking about Adventist music, I'll give you a definition from the church, the GC Annual Council on October 13th, 2004. It says all music a Christian engages with, sacred or secular, should glorify God and be the noblest and the best. So,
Does secular music glorify God?
so like for example, now again, I don't know what the definition of secular here is. I'm assuming it's not sort of I don't say sanctified, but not agreed to by the church, so not a hymn. But like if it's I'm a piano, it should be an I'm a piano song that is, glorifying God. If it's hip hop, it should be glorifying God. If it's Afrobeats, it should be glorifying God. So how far or how much do you guys agree with that? That all music a Christian listens to should be in some way, shape, or form like praising God.
No,
I don't.
You agree? You agree?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't agree with that quote entirely.
Okay, we'll come to you. That's
With the
how
quote or with the question?
No. So the thing is, the issue here is when we define secular means pertaining to the matters of everyday life.
yeah, like the world.
the world.
Yeah.
That's everyday life.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to eat. You're
secular
going to
doesn't mean
sleep.
evil.
It doesn't mean evil. It just
Yeah.
means pertaining to matters of everyday life, exempt from worship or exempt from attempting to directly connect with the divine. So generally, we would just define secular as that.
So yeah,
That's my paraphrase.
secular just means like okay from Google.
Yeah.
Not connected with religious or spiritual matters, and then from the second definition is not subject to or bound by religious rule, not belonging to or living in a monastic or other order.
Yeah. So let's just say not related to religious
Yeah.
things. So that secular can fall into eating. That is the music you play while eating. When eating, you want to enjoy what you're eating.
I have
You
a
know.
question, John.
Yeah.
If something does not pertain to
Religious
Religious
matters.
religious
Yeah.
matters, okay, would we say that a fruit does not pertain to religious matters?
I think it comes down to defining what is religion.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what is okay?
What is religion? And I'd define religion
Let's
as
define it with Christianity in Adventism.
Christianity and Adventism. So it's the way Adventists attempt to connect with God, the machine, the means, the mode of
religion.
operation. That is religion.
Like religion is
Yes.
the type
The modus
between-
operandi by which we attempt to access the divine.
Okay, because we've defined that, so would we say a fruit is not connected to like religion?
So it depends. I think now what Randy's saying is it depends. So like if I'm eating a fruit, or like for example, if it's grapes and the grapes is pressed to make wine and the wine is used in Holy Communion, then that fruit then becomes part of religious, yeah.
Yes.
But if it's being used just to fill my stomach because I'm thirsty or hungry, then it's not necessarily religious. It's like, so I guess what he's saying is like it depends on the context, you know.
Yeah. So in that way, we could then define that secular music is not wrong. In that way, that is.
But it should praise God.
No, wait. But then the thing is, okay. Let me go to my gross example earlier. So let's say a music that is of a sexual nature, in that way. Now, does a woman want you to tell her about God as you engage in coitus, or does she want you to celebrate her physical attractiveness? Then I would come to Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon isn't about, like, in its very clear reading, like me reading it like this, like clearly, this has nothing or has virtually nothing to do with God. It's two people celebrating sexual intimacy with each other, their physical attractiveness. I'm like, that's great. I mean, God put it there. It's in the scripture. That is to show us that there is nothing wrong with expressing strong sexual desire in music. I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, read that thing. That's strong sexual desire. I mean, it's more explicit than a lot of music marked explicit today, because it doesn't hide.
Would you disagree?
Would you disagree?
I see you disagree.
I think it's all about perspective and about how you interpret it. But in terms of music, like, I don't think, obviously everything is contextual and it's according to the point in time, like your point, the point in your life that you're at. So like right now, none of us here are married.
Yeah, valid.
So what's the point of us listening to songs that glorify our sexual desires? There's no point. It doesn't do anything for us. If anything, it's more tempting towards us.
Yeah.
Then, in terms of like secular music, like I think your music should glorify God, and there are some things that will draw you away from God. So if I'm listening to a song, like now, okay, the last song I listened to was "Bust Your Windows." Yeah, it's talking about like, yeah, I bust the windows out your car because you broke my heart. Now, what does that do for me apart from make me like dislike a man or something of the sort? That's all it does for me. but it's not. Why does God want me to dislike a man? You know.
Maybe it can comfort the pain from being hurt.
Okay, so
But there are
okay.
other songs that can comfort my pain without me having to be like,
Bask
I
the
hate
windows.
Randy now.
Yeah, okay, so I think, come to think of it, as you mentioned, none of us are married, so none of us should be listening to music of a strong sexual nature. That's valid. I don't listen to that music. I defend it because I want to be objective. Because there are people who are married, and it's absolutely right for them to listen to such music. So I think I defend it to be objective. I don't defend it. I don't listen to it. That's not the place I'm at like in life. I don't have a life.
Okay, so because on the point of secular music, I'm reading from the GC website. This is the General Conference. It's like the body that sort of guides.
It's our government.
It's our
It's a
government,
government.
as
It's
SPs.
Serikali.
Sure. It's
Serikali.
So yeah, what they say about secular music here is, first they start, quote unquote, secular music is music composed for settings other than the worship service or private devotion. It speaks to the common issues of life and basic human emotions. It comes out of our very being, expressing the human spirit's reaction to life, love, and the world in which the Lord has placed us. It can be morally uplifting or degrading, although it does not directly praise or adore God. Nevertheless, it could have a legitimate place in the life of the Christian. In its selection, the principles discussed, there's principles below this. In its selection, the principles discussed in this document should be followed. We'll get to those. But again, I think from that particular phrase or paragraph, it doesn't seem like secular music is a bad thing or a wrong thing. It
It's
just
true.
says like it just follow the principles below as you listen to secular music. You know. Before that, it talked about sacred music, which in a nutshell is music that is used to, as he said, to connect with the divine, to connect with God. So yeah, back to my main question again. Should we as Christians only listen to Christian music? I feel like I spoiled the answer
I
there.
have a
I mean,
question.
that's a
Yeah.
no.
Go ahead.
That's part of your question. So
Yeah.
we're not going completely off.
Go ahead.
There's an argument that for why we don't use drums and bass guitar and all that kind of stuff in church. The argument is that it's too close to worldly music. So you know when you have the drums and like all those kind of beats, and then like what's the difference between that and like listening to who raps?
To Jay-Z.
Lil Uzi or something like that. Like, what's the difference
Hey,
between?
come on, I'm old. What Jay-Z?
Like-
Let's say Jay-Z.
I almost
But it's
said
okay.
that.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between listening? Like, if you took a Jay-Z song, removed the words, and put in Christian words instead, the beat would still be the same. So it wouldn't be any different. So it would just be exactly like the world. There's nothing to set us apart from the world. And so we need to do music that is different.
To
And
show
so-
that, like,
No.
like a line. Okay, Randy,
Puts us
before
in a
we get to
mood.
like you said, Alan talking.
Okay.
Go ahead, first.
it puts our hearts,
Yeah.
our minds in a mood of worship, rather
Uh-huh.
than us coming from the world and being like whatever,
But
and
then go
then coming
back
to
to church
church and then
and
also
then-
like like there's no difference.
Okay, I get
in
you.
what
I
it
get
is.
you. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. I think also that's the same argument used for dressing, in that it's not wrong to wear jeans, but if I wear jeans to work and then I wear jeans to church, it's like I'm in the same mindset as I was at work in church. But I get your point. Alan, you have a point on
It's
that
an
question.
expansion on of her points.
Mhm.
You know, if we just walk outside, see KWS is somewhere here.
Mhm.
Let's say like 10 lions break out. And we know in those 10 lions, there is one that is tamed.
Mhm.
Will you run or will you still will you wait?
You run.
You'll run,
Yeah.
sit down.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to find out which one of the 10 is the tame one, you see. So because they all look like lions, you will run, you see. So if we are standing too close to these things of the world, you see, you'll find yourself in a space where if we don't know the difference between these, if this is secular or this is bad, this is good. If you can't tell the difference of those lions, of course, that is treading a very murky waters, you see. So what I would say, if we are supposed to be in the world, but not of the world.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Okay, so now before I get to Randy,
Yeah.
I'm coming to you, don't worry. I'm going back to these points in that we want a difference between what we listen to in the world as opposed to what we listen to in church. My question is are beats that like significant to draw us further from God in the church. Like for example, there's lots of music that has drums, that has a bass guitar and whatnot, but draws you closer to music. Maverick City, for example. And at the same time, there's also music that has like drums and a bass guitar, you know, like certain rock and roll that doesn't necessarily draw you close to God. Is it the music? Is it the drums? Is it the guitar? Like, what is it in that song or in that music that draws you further from God? Because like, I don't believe it's just the drums or the guitar.
Can I
You know.
answer?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So to answer this, so I'll refer to the book In Tune with God by Lillian Ducan. So Lillian Ducan is a Adventist professor of music emeritus at Andrews University. That's her scholarly profile. Now, so the thing is, the book points out that the issue with that argument is it's based on the wrong assumptions. Now, here's the thing. The reason why we don't play worldly music in church, air quotes, for me, air quotes, is because of associations. The issue isn't with the music. Music has no morality. It's neither good nor bad. So it's a matter of wise and unwise. And in being wise or unwise, it's what we call associations. The older generation, in their time, the 80s, the 90s, would sin as they listened to such music. Now their association with such music is sin. We come into this world, I've never been to a club, never been to a disco. I have no associations of this type. Now, I want to play this music in church because the only association I have with this music is one of a neutral or spiritual thing. I have no association with sin, with such a composition. That is rap, hip hop, soul, R&B, neo soul. None of it has of a sinful association. So the older generation, when they hear the music in church, are thinking, "Oh, I sinned." That time, I sinned on 24th of October, 1996, when I listened to such a music with such a composition. I come into the church, I'm like, I'm now creating new experiences from music, from this music. I'm now connecting with God because of this music, because I have no previous associations. I have no bias. So the question here, or the issue with like having secular music in church, is secular and sacred are mutually constructive. Because music is neutral, in that way, it's us who give them meaning. That's why there's nothing wrong with the older generation. Like, they did their due, they have their problems, we have our problems, but then they should become honest with their declaration. They should say, "We don't want to listen to this because it brings back the wrong memories for us."
Yes,
Yeah.
Alan, go ahead. As we wrap.
On your point, I like what you said that the older generation remembers that, and it ties back to what we were told by, I think it's Paul, where he said that go and sin no more. When you remember that you actually sinned, and you know that this is the kind of thing that can make you sin, you blot it out. If it is my hand that will make me sin, I would rather cut it off than miss out on the kingdom of heaven. And them telling us this made me sin is them coming with the wisdom of them, knowing that, well, you might be different, but just be aware that you can be susceptible to sin, you can be tempted to sin, just like Woody said, you can be tempted by this kind of music. So when we tell you that, you could avoid this kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, no, my point is the music never caused them to sin. That's the thing.
Yeah,
the premise is the problem wasn't the music. The problem is what they did when the music was playing.
Okay.
But
Also,
the music not cause them to do that thing. I fully believe music makes you do things. If you listen to a song that promotes like the sexual things, it will make you more inclined to want to do those things. It will put your mind in a space where you're like, now I'm thinking about this, now I'm feeling like I want to do this. But if you listen to songs that are against that, then it, like, music holds such powerful things for the mind that sometimes you don't realize it as you're listening to it.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let me just let me back what she said up, because first of all, the studies on that, but I'll come to studies later. I think I'll put a link because there's so many studies. I'll put a link in the description below. But also from Ellen G. White, which is like the icon of Adventism.
Okay, icons.
Okay, icon sounds wrong. We're gonna say icon. Okay, the wrong one. She's like
One-
a
one-
very,
one-
a very
one-
famous
one-
Adventist, I should say. A very famous Adventist or person.
And it depends who you ask.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Misati has beef.
Anyway.
But she's okay. She's so okay. I haven't really, I'll be honest, studied her that much, but she's often quoted. So I'll quote what she says. Of the power of song, she writes, "It is one of the most effective means of impressing the heart with spiritual truth. How often to the soul hard pressed and ready to despair, memory recalls some word of God's, the long forgotten burden of a childhood song, and temptations lose their power. Life takes on new meaning and new purpose, and courage and gladness are imparted to other souls. As a part of religious service, singing is as much an act of worship as is prayer. Indeed, many a song is a prayer. As our Redeemer leads us to the threshold of the infinite, flushed with the glory of God, we may catch the themes of praise and thanksgiving with the heavenly choir round about the throne. And as the echo of the angels' song is awakened in our earthly homes, hearts will be drawn closer to the heavenly singers. Heaven's communion begins on earth. We learn here the keynote of its praise." In a nutshell, she says that music is very powerful in the sense that it as she said, it can make you do things. Now again, like you're not like a puppet that music controls, but music oftentimes, very oftentimes, can cause you to go down a direction you didn't intend to before. And I think that's necessarily not necessarily because you're gullible, but because music has a certain power with it. There's a way it sounds to the ears and to the mind and even to the heart that it then causes you to go. For example, let's say if you listen to a love song, you feel like falling in love. If you listen to a heartbreak song, even if you're not hurt, you feel like you want to find someone. You know,
Yeah.
if you listen to like a really pumped up, amped up song, you want to like do something like work out, do some activity. There's a reason certain songs play in the gym, or certain music is played at the club, or certain music is played
Or even in
church, or
movies.
even in movies. Like
Yeah.
the score of a movie is oftentimes used to create the emotion behind the scene. So again, I can't say it doesn't have the power to do so, but I do also believe that as reasonable human beings, we can think for ourselves. Misati, you want to disagree? Go
Yeah, no,
ahead.
it's not actually disagreeing. It's pointing out that the only reason it makes us want to do things is because we have desire. Without desire, music does not make us, it encourages, or it nurtures a desire. Now, a eunuch will listen to sexual music, will have no desire, will want to do nothing. He has no capacity. He has no capacity to feel sexual feelings. So sexual music that would arouse a non-eunuch would not arouse them because there's no desire. I think fundamentally that's even looking at the sin problem. Music is not the problem. We are the problem. That's it. So I'd say it like that. Without desire, we cannot be encouraged to do something. If you have no desire for something, you cannot be encouraged to do that thing because you have no capacity. Yeah.
Okay. Any final points before we close, guys? I feel like we haven't done enough justice to this topic, but we'll come back to it, I promise. So any final points you guys had? What's up, Woody?
Okay, my final point would be I think it's something to study more, not just for us, but for like everyone. Music is very powerful, and we underestimate its power. Like, let's just be, I don't say careful, but let's take time to really understand what we're listening to, what we put out there. Because sometimes even you don't really hear the lyrics of a song. I think there are a lot of songs that I listened to like in my childhood that I didn't really listen to the words, but I was dancing to them, and then now I'm listening to the words and I'm like, that was not appropriate for my 10-year-old self. So like, let's just pay attention because it's conditioning our minds to a certain extent. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan.
Yeah, so one thing about music is that I really appreciate is that you will notice that everyone has a favorite hymn and it usually changes seasonally. For example, mine as of now is song number 425.
Name.
The name of the song.
Mm.
It is the title in Apotea side.
Something past me, you remember?
Yeah, it is Holy,
Oh.
holy.
Okay, so I get
Holy,
you.
holy.
The angels
It's actually
sing.
called Holy, Holy, Holy.
Yeah.
Three
Yeah.
holies. Three holies.
Yeah, I relate to it. And previously, it would have been like for 39 or something, because it speaks to a certain type. So music can be used to in in the way the quote said by, I think it's Ellen White, said that in its purest form it can be used to uplift. I remember there was a time when I was in high school. I even remember the date, Friday 13th May 2016. Yeah, we sang, and that was like the contemporary favorite hymn of the time, of collectively of all of us. I think it was song number 216. Chorister,
Next question.
It's okay. We sang, and I remember when we sang, there was a silence. There was a certain silence in school. It was eerie, but there was a certain silence, and we were singing at the top of our lungs. Everyone was very engaged. And I could remember, I think we all felt like the power, we sang till the power of the Lord came. So I would say, when the music has spoken to you, and if it in its purest form, you feel it is moving you, trust me, yeah, it does. So it is as powerful to connect with what Woody said. It is very powerful, and it can be used for pure worship.
Misati.
Yeah, I think music is absolutely fantastic, and any problems arise from music because humanity is the problem.
Okay.
That's it.
I think for me, my parting shot is to bring you guys back to the Bible. I don't think that there is a line around which is music that is good for Christians, which is music that is bad for Christians. It's very like life isn't very black and white, but I think that God gave us brains for a reason, so we can reason. And so I think with that, there's a verse, Philippians 4 verse 8. I'll read it real quick. It says, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things." And I think that also goes to music. In that it's very hard because cultures are very different and we have very different styles. But in your own culture, in your own from your own background, think about what is good, and you will like if you break it down, you will know what draws you closer to God and what doesn't. You'll know when I listen to a song, this makes me feel like praying, and when I listen to another song, it makes me feel like doing something else. So I think there's very much a clear way of our brains understanding what music does to us. I'll give you guys one more verse. I think I have it somewhere here. What's here? Yeah. So it says, I think it's Corinthians chapter. Actually, Woody, do you mind reading? 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31.
Oh my gosh. 1 Corinthians chapter?
10, verse 31.
It says, "Therefore, whatever you eat or drink, or whatever you do all to the glory of God."
And I think that's like the ultimate mission of a Christian is to glorify God. That we are created beings, we have our creator, and we are called to worship him. And now that doesn't mean that you spend 24/7. If you do, it's okay, but we understand the world is different for everybody. But it's very difficult to spend 24/7 just in prayer, praising, worshiping. You can try. I don't say that you should, but you can. But otherwise, even in our secular, like the guidelines said, even in our secular life, we should still maintain the idea that whatever I listen to should be praiseworthy or should be admirable or should be noble or should be glorifying God. So I think that's it from me. I don't have any other things to say. With that, I'll say this is the end of the episode. Thank you for joining us for this brief episode. It feels brief. I don't know how long it was. It feels brief. But yeah, stay tuned for, I think there'll definitely be like a part 2 because we've not done justice to this at all. I feel like there's a lot more to be explored and for us to dive into. I'll add links. Okay, I say Woody will add links
Sadly,
to the description below. And these are links that you should all read. It's about there's scientific links from Harvard Medical School and different like journals and academic writings, and there's also Bible verses and church guidelines. that I think to me sort of show the link between music and humanity. So yeah, thank you for staying tuned and see you next week, 2 weeks from now. Bye bye.
You forgot to pray.
Oh, she stopped me, but it's okay.
It's all good. It's all good.
You see, we can add a Nini. You continue.
Yeah, you can add a prayer at the end. You can pray for them.
Okay, who prayed last time? Misati?
Yeah.
Who did you pray for us?
Oh no, I meant like when you're editing, you say a prayer.
You pray.
It's still rolling.
It's still rolling, yeah. You
Oh my
pray.
gosh,
Gender parity,
hi.
man. Gender parity.
Okay, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this conversation that we've been able to have. We thank you for the guidance that you give unto us freely. And we pray that even as we go out, the music that we listen to and all the things that we do, Lord, it may be to the glory and to the honor of your name. And I pray that you may just give us the wisdom that we need to be able to discern what is good and what is not. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you.